you are all beautiful, and in you there's no stain of original sin. That invocation we make to our Blessed Mother kind of reminds us of the link of our celebration, the Immaculate Conception, no stain of original sin. And therefore, Mary is all beautiful. And so as I was reflecting on this feast, I realized the challenge I have, because the Church, I believe, invites us today to simply contemplate the beauty of Mary. You're all beautiful, O Mary. And the challenge with beauty is it's very hard to describe with words, right? Something you see and contemplate and moves the heart. And so I found myself trying to look for experiences that can help us enter into what it must be, or something to help us contemplate Mary. And as many of the brothers know, I recently had the grace to be in Rome. And Rome is exciting. Rome is beautiful. And Rome has St. Peter's Basilica, which, at least my experience, every time you start to draw close and you see the dome on the horizon, and it just somehow says, wow. And then when you enter the Basilica of St. Peter's, which is immense, it's an experience of entering into another world. The opening prayer of our Mass speaks of God creating in Mary the perfect dwelling place. And maybe that's the description of St. Peter's, right? It's like the perfect dwelling place, right? To have as like the center, physical center of our Catholic faith. You know, we have to point to something, St. Peter's. And there we had the tomb of St. Peter, the first apostle, and all these saints everywhere you go. And what is impressed me as I was thinking about the St. Peter's experience is that there's so much in there, but it doesn't feel crowded. It's like everything has its space, and everything's in proportion. You know, those who give tours, like Father Nathan, you can ask them afterwards. Right? They'll tell you, like the letters and things that you read on the inscriptions are more than 6 feet tall or something, but they look all perfectly just there. You don't know how great and giant, but everything just seems to be, well, perfect, balanced, harmonized. And so those who've had an experience of St. Peter's or any other place that kind of filled your heart with awe, that can be a window to Mary. You are all beautiful. The Church wants us to pause and contemplate that beauty of Mary. The Psalms that we had today was sing to the Lord a new song, for he has done wondrous deeds. Mary is the wondrous deed. In Rome, there are many churches that are very beautiful. But sometimes you go in and there's just so much beauty in there. It's like cramped, right? It's overwhelming. I don't know if you've had those experiences. And every other soul is kind of like that. Even the saints are all beautiful. There's something in them that kind of cramps God's presence. Because that's what sin does. And there's no other person conceived without sin other than Mary. And so you can also think of the saint that most inspires you and go from there, and Mary's has got to be bigger or just more beautiful. You're all beautiful, oh Mary. And the other thing our liturgy teaches us today is that Mary is one of us. And that's what's amazing. Because Mary's beauty somehow is our beauty, if you can say that. I was trying to look for another example, and I've probably used it before, but it's the only one that came to mind. And that's, because sometimes we share in the victories or the blessings of other people, and that's look, that's, it's also, my mom's great, therefore I'm great. My dad's great. And the Legion had the blessing, right? A year and a half ago when Cardinal Verhey's legionary priest was named cardinal by the church. And the Legion has a cardinal. Yeah? I didn't do any of the work that he did. I didn't contribute in any way, but I somehow share in that. Right? I feel honored I feel appreciated. And the church wants us to look at Mary and really have that sense of, yes, that all beauty that I also would like to offer God. My mom's got it. And so I am happy, and I celebrate that. Who of us does not want to give to God a love with all our heart, all our mind, all our strength, all our will? And we experience, we just can't do it. But Mom can and does. And we want to enjoy that on this feast day in a special way. You are all beautiful, all Mary, and within you there is no stain of original sin, also means she's full of grace, as the angel says. And the first reading that we hear on this feast day from Genesis, right, reminds us of the effects of sin, and therefore the effects of grace. Adam and Eve sin, and God comes into the garden. Where are you, Adam? Adam and Eve are hiding, as we know, because sin separates us from God and separates us from each other. But the corollary is grace unites, brings us close. And if Mary is full of grace, she's the most close to us. Last night we had a beautiful little celebration out in the courtyard, tradition from Colombia and other countries, where they honor the Immaculate Conception with these small candles, velitas. And if you look at the photos, it's really beautiful. Because what we did in our courtyard, which you'll see, Sister Barbara has a statue of our Blessed Mother, as you would imagine in any courtyard. And there, at night when it's dark, we have all these candles emanating from Mary and going out on all the paths of our courtyard. And it's like the light of God, right, shining through Mary, extending out on every little pathway, nook and cranny. Might be exaggeration, but since we had a already installed, let's say, in the courtyard, a nativity scene, which was, without possibility of removing baby Jesus, so he's actually there in the courtyard. And the lights kind of got there, right at the end, also bringing, lighting up the path to Jesus, which Mary does. But I thought it was a really beautiful image for us on this feast, right? Because not only was it very beautiful, and if you haven't seen the photos that Father Stephen took, check them out. It's a good image, I think, also, of what God has given us in Mary. Kind of like, all the light, the love, the goodness, the kindness of God enters into Mary and just flows out freely because she has no resistance to God's action. And it's willing to go and reach us no matter where we are. Mary is not afraid to draw close to us, no matter where we are. We know that, of course, God also is not afraid. Even the first reading of Genesis, God is looking. He's already like the good shepherd. Where are you, Adam? There's no reason to hide from me. I know you're afraid because, you sinned, right? And sin separates, but I'm coming to you. Mary, in the same way, does that. She wants to draw close to us. And she will go anywhere to reach us. And she embraces us and shares her beauty, her love, which is what we want to give God, with us. So I thought maybe as a way to kind of summarize all we've said is to think about Mary now in this Mass when we have the opportunity to receive Christ in communion. We can't receive him as much as we would like to, with all the love and generosity, but Mary can. So why don't we approach Christ in the communion today with Mary? And even visualize that. Mom, together let's receive our Lord. So he will find in you the worthy dwelling place that I would like to offer. And in you, because you can do this, you kind of share with me the light, the love, the goodness of God, adding your own motherly touch. And somehow that will make it even better. Make my response to God even better. You are all beautiful, O Mary, and in you there is no stain of original sin.